We'll let you know when you can come in, Coop.
Take care of each other out there. Mind the people in the front. But above all else, cut the shit and start the fucking
There we go.
All right. There was the intro.
Now we're trying to get everyone else back here. Why? Solo off. There we go.
All right. So I got that. I got Denis.
Yeah, we actually had Dan there for a moment, but he showed up during a time where I couldn't talk to him because of the video. So let's see if hopefully he'll come back again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our little fucked up, messed up show here.
There we go.
Denis, can you hear us? Denis cannot hear us? Denis, can you not hear us?
Denis, are you there?
No. I'm.
Are you going back to live?
Denis, can you hear us? How, Dan? Can?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's Dan.
Dan!
Yeah,
I
now.
can see you.
Hello? It
We
says
all
I'm
have
live
sound
now.
Hey!
Very unattractive.
This is ridiculous.
You are unattractive.
I know that.
Dan, you are the one. You are the one with
Very
probably the
close.
most technology
You have the
knowledge.
phone, like 2 inches
And
from
I
your nose?
still can't figure it out. I don't see you, John. I see Dennis and I see Bill and William.
Yeah, that's gonna. Bill has
Yeah.
that problem too. I think
I
when
don't
you
hear
go with your
anybody.
iPhone, that's the moderator doesn't show up for some reason. I don't know why, but that's okay.
Oh boy.
Did you see the intro?
I thought I saw you playing guitar, no?
Yeah.
Nice.
What were you playing there,
I
William?
only see your dumb
I
ass.
was playing
See,
skate.
I don't hear anybody else.
Oh, you don't hear anybody but Dan?
That's all he needs to hear. Do you only hear me, Dennis?
I only hear you. I have no idea what
Oh
you're saying.
boy, yeah. He can only hear me. I can hear everybody. Oh
But
boy.
yeah,
It's gonna be one of these.
I was playing
What in
skate.
the world?
Nice. Am I sideways now?
You are
Yeah,
sideways.
you're
That's pretty
sideways.
cool, though.
Even uglier than you were before.
All right, I'll go back to this. I don't know. I thought I hooked it up on my computer, but
And so we can have
This is
What the fuck?
well, this is fun to watch too. Just trying to figure out technology with 88 Fingers
what?
Louie.
how many old dudes does it take to work technology?
Let me.
Yeah, I just see Dan.
He just sees me.
Oh boy,
I
can
don't
you
see
hear it?
anybody else?
You can't
Can
hear.
you hear anybody else?
No.
No, he can only hear me.
Why don't you
Sorry.
have him sign
Can
out
you
and
hear
sign
me?
back in and see if that
All right.
works.
All right, I'll try that. Goodbye.
Not you, him. Oh,
Oh,
Dennis, can you hear us?
we gotta wait 30 minutes again for Dan.
Yeah. No, I meant. There we go. They both signed out.
Well, now I got a frozen Denis sideways. There's Dan again.
There's Dan.
Yeah. Dan is
All right,
live.
I'm back.
Let me see if we can get to Buckley here. Then here.
I see
Oh.
Buckley.
It's going
There
live.
we go.
There we go.
Woo!
Woo!
Yay!
Ridiculous. Are we done yet? I'm kidding.
Oh, look at the
You know, just because your little intro did well on your private one doesn't mean ours is horrible.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on here. So
So
everyone's here?
I usually do this private, but I'll do it live. So let's. One thing to try to do is not talk over each other. So just be conscious of each other talking. Sometimes I'll be trying.
trying.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be trying to search out videos, so I'll go quiet so you guys can keep the conversation going. If you're knocked off, just follow the link and come back on, which we've already experienced. So, well, that just happened to Dan. Dan just got knocked off again.
Dan has lost his precision, according to Dave.
Did now. Can you guys hear me again?
Yes.
All right. I'm not touching anything. I was trying to connect like headphones, but I'm not doing it.
No, there's not very much feedback or reverb feedback, so it all sounds good. I don't hear anybody's like mics in their room or speakers in their room, so it's all good.
Cool.
We're all here. Look, we got Bill and William. We got Dan and Dennis from 88 Fingers Louie. And if anybody is joining us, remember to put some questions in the sidebar, and we'll answer some questions or just get some conversations going. So, how are you guys enjoying this quarantine? Are you sticking to staying inside, or you got to do your jobs out in the real world, or what's going on?
Me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
staying inside pretty much. Unfortunately, jobs haven't been coming around too often right now. Obviously with recording, can't really meet up with anybody. I've got a few little mixing and mastering sessions, but not much. So I've been kind of just doing my own little videos on my YouTube channel to kind of keep myself and other people entertained.
I saw that parody. That parody one was really great. I don't know if you've done a couple, but what was the one that you that did that I really liked? What was it called?
Quarantine. It was Call Me by Blondie. Yeah,
that was amazing. That was really great. Well done.
Thanks. I had a fun time doing it. It took me like 6 days to really get everything there, but it was fun,
Well, thank God the quarantine is lasting long. So
is that something that you came up with, like John, or is that something, or James, not John? Is that something that you did with him, or is that just you randomly just said, "Hey, I'm going to make this video"?
Oh, I didn't even know if anyone else. I mean, I know there's other people doing stuff, but no, I just actually my girlfriend. I came up with the idea of doing a video, and she's like, "Why don't you do the song Call Me? That's a really good song." I'm like, "Okay, how would I do that?" And went from there, and it worked out really well. I actually saw a dude did a Nirvana song, and it was pretty cool. I'm like, I like that, but I'm going to go a step further, So that's how it kind of came about.
We've been singing the Beatles' "Yellow Submarine," saying we're all in the quarantine.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's awesome.
So, Dennis, what are you doing with your time there? You said you work from home, right? Mostly now.
Yeah, it's tough because as a hand model, I'm not getting a lot of business with this quarantine. These hands are $1 million hands, and no one wants to touch me now because of the social distancing. So I've gone back to my old job, and working from home.
Yeah. You just moved, right in the middle of all this.
I did.
Craziness.
Moved in the midst of all this, but got here safe and sound.
Cool.
Yeah.
Antonio was saying that damn quarantine song gets stuck in my head all the time. So, I guess you could thank both you and Blondie for that. I would imagine. Since
yeah.
Planker is just saying everyone's pretty. That's kind of his job. He comes in here and says everyone's pretty.
Yeah, thank you.
I got into like that little Mimi fight with him the other night. We were going back and forth. I think to like almost midnight with stupid shit on one of his posts.
He's good like that.
Just nonstop.
He's what they call a edgelord. I think the kids call him edgelord. Keep your shirt on,
He's the opossum talker lately for Chicago.
Yeah.
He's got that pet downstairs.
So I always like to lead this off a little bit with William always has some questions for the band. So what do you got for us now? We can start this off with.
So actually, I was on YouTube and I looked up Dan and came up with a list of videos on how to play some 88 songs, and that's how I learned how to play state.
Awesome.
So how are those like instruction videos actually going for you, Dan? Have you
Well,
You got
it's
a
funny
lot
that
of
you
followers?
mentioned that. Well, I did a whole bunch of them like a couple years ago, and I'm like, now that I'm doing some other stuff on YouTube, I was going to do some more of them. And it's funny because I upload them, and at the very end of each video, I actually play along to the track that we had recorded. And YouTube keeps flagging me, saying you can't use this. This is owned by this publishing company, which obviously our record company, did. So I can't publish them. It won't let me publish them. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out ways around it. And I've got all the separated tracks. So I'll upload just like the drums and the bass, and I'll play the guitar along with it. And that worked like 2 years ago. And this time it's flagging me again.
Oh,
So
geez.
I've got like 4 more ready to go, and I'm trying to figure out a good way of doing this. I might have to just cut the ends off where you won't be able to play the whole song as it's recorded. But I've got another idea of putting the songs up on Bandcamp, just like the stems, where you could play with the drum, the bass, and the click track. Which I did that for one song, and I think I'm going to do that for the rest. So hopefully, there's going to be some more coming out, especially from from Thank You for Being a Friend, from the newest album, which is, Jesus, almost 3 years old now.
Yeah, I saw that. 2017, right? Is that when that came?
Yep.
Yeah. Good. Yep. Hey, Dennis. Abe Bloom is asking here. I was supposed to see y'all tomorrow. Is the band just waiting for this to blow over to start booking? And he hopes your families are all healthy and well. So, do you have any ideas? It's. I know everything is in flux now, but have you guys talked through what you guys might do?
Well, as far as the show, yeah, that's obviously not happening. I don't know if there's going to be a makeup show or not, because it's so hard to pinpoint when they're going to start having shows. And
Yeah,
I was talking to some friends just the other day, and the worry, at least from some of the people I've spoken to, is, yeah, cool, Lightfoot lifts the shelter in place, but who's going to be who's going to feel strongly enough to go to a venue like that with people that they can still get sick? So even if they do open up the clubs now, there's still going to be a lot of people that are going to be afraid to go. So in the meantime, we just check in with each other. There's no real plan, unfortunately, just because we don't know how things are going to go.
Yeah. Hey, both of you guys, Dan, you're the tech savvy one, but this seems to be pushing a lot of bands to experiment more with the online stuff. Have you guys talked about that, or have you thought about?
We had the idea of doing like a live stream or something like that, and of course I always want to push things further. I'm like, let's kind of do a whole video, and that way we can kind of tighten things up and make it look as good as possible. But of course, then the quarantine stuff started happening, and it's like, well, we're not going to do that anyway. We haven't really talked about it beyond that. I mean, we could try something, but the only problem is everyone needs to have something to record themselves. And I think that would be tough for both Denis and John. Nat's got something he could definitely work into it, but it would be weird. I don't know how we could do it. We might be able to.
Cool.
I think you could get them just to sing outside.
Just yell really loud.
Just yell really loud and call it a day.
There you go.
Just have his neighbors record him or something, or just while he's screaming out the window, just have everyone capture him on their iPhones and send that over to you.
We could figure something out like that.
I don't know this reference. Someone, R.K. Bailey, is saying thoughts on Dracula's. Is that a band? Or I don't even know what that means.
Dracula's?
Dracula's with a K.
Oh, I think he's trying to start some shit.
Who was that?
Wrong interview, pal.
It's R.K. Bailey, whoever that is.
Don't know. Nope. No. I know an MG Bailey, but not an R.K. Bailey.
It sounds like some people are actually pushing for a virtual set. So yeah, it seems like there's some excitement about that potential idea.
Just don't know how we do it, without getting together. And I'm already coughing, so I'd probably give everybody the Rona.
I think even if I could, I have the laptop I have is loaned from work. I don't even know if I have the ability to download software. I might have to get like some sort of special IT clearance to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is it possible where you guys could get together like in a building and play and just have somebody film it and doing it live at the time?
Then we're breaking quarantine.
There's only 4 of you. You can't go more than 5 deep. You get the camera guy and you 4. That's the end of it.
And you stand 6 feet apart.
Driving through the city, making sure people are staying at home. I do not want her on my ass. I've seen how mad she can get. I'm not trying to fuck with Lori Lightfoot.
We could get.
We can do it.
A buddy of ours has one of these big ass old Cadillac convertibles that would fit the whole entire band and the drum kit in the back. We could drive around Chicago with that.
That'd be hilarious.
On there, there's nobody on the streets to complain right now, so you got free reign.
It's true.
And then we could all go to Patrick's house and just crash his front yard somewhere.
There you go. Oh, he'd love that.
Yeah, he'd be out there shooting us with his BB gun.
I'm not saying that iniquity.
I'm just getting back into some notes on the 88 Fingers here. I didn't realize it was 19 years between your full length records. That's crazy. And were you guys pretty much staying? I know you all had other side projects and whatnot, or main projects. Were you two actually staying in contact during that whole time, or was there a falling out, or have you guys always been pretty tight through all of that?
We have falling outs every 4 days. Like it's been a relationship. We fall out every 4 days, but
he's not lying.
From 99 to 2009, I don't know that we really talked all that much. The occasional phone call or text here and there. I'm sorry. So when we split, quote unquote, for good in '99, it was 2008 that I joined up with 0 to 60.
No, I think it was 07. 07, I think it was.
Yeah. So we went about 8 years, talking every once in a while, and then I started playing with Dan again in 2007 in a band called 0 to 60. And then I kind of walked away from that about a year later. Story of my life. Things are good for a year, and then I just want to walk away. But then a year later, we did the anniversary show at the Bottom Lounge, the 10-year, our 10-year anniversary of our breakup. We played a show.
Yeah.
What's that?
Who's it?
No, you weren't at the Bottom Lounge show.
Oh.
No.
Damn.
Yeah, you were like... You weren't there?
Oh.
You were at the Metro show for their release.
Yes, he was there. I remember William being there.
The parking lot and that band was playing with the long hair. That was not that.
No, the one.
Yeah.
You're thinking of White Zombie, William.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Dan and Rob Zombie confused.
So, I think I've asked you guys this before. Who's got a relative named Anthony that used to sell cars? Do you guys have one?
Anthony that used to sell cars.
Maybe Dom?
Yeah. So I worked at Woodfield Nissan once upon a time, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, have you heard 88 Fingers?" And I'm like, 88 Fingers? And he's like, "Yeah, it's my cousin's band or somebody's band." And I think it was when you just released your 7-inch on your own, maybe. So that was what?
93?
No, it was actually later than that. It was probably 97 on that. So yeah, you guys released in 93. So was it Behind Bars or?
Well, Back on the Streets was 98. Behind Bars was 95. So somewhere around there.
Somewhere in between there. That's when I got my first 88 Fingers bootleg, call it. He handed me a recorded cassette.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
On there. Which I still have somewhere buried in my garage. But every time I see you guys, I'm like, who's this guy?
We don't know. If it's someone named Anthony, it's probably related to Dom because he was the only Italian dude in the band. Well, I shouldn't say only, him and
No.
Principe. Joe, I forgot. Back
Joe
then, at
wasn't
least.
Irish.
So it's probably one of those two.
Yeah, I should probably hit up Dom on that and go, who the fuck is this? I can't think of the dude's name on there.
So Dennis, Tom Gussie was saying that Dennis, I believe, A. Bloom, you, myself, and a few others saw Weasel together in the early '90s. He's talking about a specific show, yeah. So like back in which days was that? The Dirty Nellies, or was that the McGregors, or what?
It would have been McGregor's.
Yeah.
I know we saw the Wiggle album release. Was that at McGregor's?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were definitely there.
Cool.
I saw you guys a bunch of times. You guys actually were my first punk band I saw.
Yeah, I remember seeing you a lot, Dan, at shows. Did you guys get to play McGregor's or 88 Fingers Louie? No.
No.
They had just closed their doors. They closed their doors at the very beginning in '93, and we didn't start playing out until that summer.
Yeah.
So your first shows were at like the Fireside? Is that kind of where things switched over to? It seems.
Well, our first
or
show,
laundry mats, or Brian Sarnick's house.
Yeah. Our first show was, and Dan, I'm going to forget the lineup, but it was us. Was it us, the Fighters, and Los Crudos at that laundromat?
Maybe. I thought it was. No, it was us and the Fighters. I don't remember. Was it Boll Weevils at that time or no?
No.
But that was the day. I remember that was the three-peat, the Bulls three-peat.
Yeah.
Was that day, and it was crazy out.
Yeah, Jason Mojica from the Fighters, his family owned a laundromat at somewhere off of 26th, I want to say. It was it was not very very nice part of Chicago at the time. This is '93, and it was the night that the Bulls won their three-peat. So it was It was insanity all over the city anyway.
Yeah, just to set the scene there for the audience, if you weren't here around that time, in my neighborhood, Logan Square, there was at least 3 cars that were upside down and on fire.
Yeah, it was. Me and Dom were driving to the gig, and there were people like sitting on top of cars as they were driving down the streets and like lighting off fireworks and just waving flags of all sorts, and it was nuts.
There were no laws that night.
No. My dad at the time, my dad at the time was stationed at Kedzie Lake in Humboldt Park, and I went to go visit him at the firehouse within a day or two after that, and he showed me all the bullet holes in the hook and ladder and the engine. They got sprayed. Every time they would go to a fire that night or the next day, they were just getting shot at. It was really crazy.
So, hey, John, I got a question for you. Because I saw Abe Bloom commenting that his first was at Exit with Bhopal Stiffs. And that was the first time I saw you guys, was at Exit with Bhopal Stiffs. But I could have sworn, I don't remember who was the other band, but at the old Exit, did you guys play there often? Or was it one time? Or
That was a one time. I used to go dancing at the Exit all the time, but we only played there once. And then remember, the show was actually shut down because what was that boozy drunky guy that Drunky Al or Boozy Al or someone like actually knocked down the whole speaker cabinet. So it was during our set.
I don't remember that, but I remember that was my first show, and I remember it was Easter of '89, and it was in March. It was like March something, which was weird because Easter's usually in April, but it just stuck in the old noggin there.
Yeah, that was a crazy show. I was just thinking the Bhopal Stiffs because we were trying to get Larry on here. I was just touting the greatness of that band when it first came out. So that power was those guys were so great.
They were great.
Tom Gussie, who commented earlier, he's the one who introduced me to Bhopal Stiffs. We were listening to records, and he had the Not Just My Head 7-inch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was right after 3-Chord Monty had come out, that first Pegboy thing. And I didn't realize that Larry was, I didn't know. The only thing I knew about Pegboy at the time was that it had the Haggerty brothers. I didn't know anything about anybody else. But he got that Bhopal Stiff 7-inch. I was like, oh, that Not Just My Head song is awesome. And then 6 years later, we end up recording it for that split with the Bullheads.
Did you guys play any shows at all with Larry and any of his bands?
We played
Peg Boy.
a couple.
You
shows.
did play with Peg Boy? Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
The most recent one was
Brower House.
Brower House, December of 2018.
I think so. It's the big room, and then before that, we played at Fest in Gainesville. That stage, remember?
Yep.
Remember that one?
Remember that one? And then 0 to 60 played with Peg Boy. Didn't 0 to 60 play with Peg Boy?
We did? Maybe.
Maybe that was Explode. No. I think it was 0 to 60. I have a funny story, John. You might
legit.
John, you might find this.
Yeah, let's. Dennis is a little quiet, so let's stay quiet during his story time.
So, John, we ended up doing. I don't know if you remember, but 88 did 2 Anthem for a New Tomorrow release shows with you guys. We did the show in Forest Park, and then we played DeKalb with you guys. I don't know what the length of time in between shows were, but I want to say they might have been maybe 1 month after the other or within the same month. Dan, do you remember?
I don't, but I just remember it was really cold. I remember driving to DeKalb and having a hole in the floorboard in the van and my foot getting frozen. I do remember that.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. When we did that show at Bedrocks, right? Was Bedrocks in Forest Park was the name of the place?
I think
it was one and only time they had a show there, if I remember correctly. But this was, we played when Anthem for a New Tomorrow came out, and we were doing Not Just My Head in our set pretty regularly at that point. And I'm only going to speak for myself, but that was right around the time that Peg Boys 4 EP had come out. And I didn't like it because at the time I didn't like the Jesus Lizard, and I thought Steve Albini's influence was kind of overpowering that EP. So because I'm a dumbass, before we went into the Bo Paul Stiff song, I said, "This is when Larry was in a good band." And not only did that go over terribly, your former singer thought I was talking about Larry Livermore, who must have flown in for that show. So, so shortly after that show was done, somebody in the band got a talking to. So somebody from your former band told somebody in our band that the singer's got a big mouth. You got to get rid of him. He's got a big mouth. So,
I wonder who that someone was.
We had the chance.
Yeah, shut your mouth. I'll quit the band right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe he had a point.
Yeah. He wasn't that far off, but it was just, I don't know why I decided that was certainly our biggest show to date at that point, like opening up for Screeching Weasel. Why would I say something that stupid? Because I was caffeinated. I had a lot of caffeine. I wasn't drinking back then. I was sober as a church mouse.
Yeah.
You had high ambitions.
Yes.
How do you? This is a weird question, but I think it's interesting. How do you value do you feel the pressure of putting on a performance that's like different each time or in front of an audience? Do you feel like you need to come up with interesting things to say, or is it just more about the music driving your performances?
Honestly, I do everything by the seat of my pants.
Yes, exactly. Like go ahead. Sorry.
No,
I was going to say, we plan the music out exactly how we want to play it, and then all the in-between stuff that Dennis says and I respond to, it's just whatever Dennis says kind of happens.
Yeah.
We'll talk at rehearsals. Like, okay, we're going to go right into this next song. Like, no break. We're going to go right into it. And then I'll be like, oh, so thanks for clapping along to that one. Like, I'll totally we're supposed to have like a three song back to back, and I'll just decide to talk in between, throwing everything off.
Yeah, well, I think some of that banter is important, and it gives a sort of personality to the band. But I mean, Ben used to take it too far. Like we'd actually have more banter than song playing by the end of.
We've had shows like that.
We've had to curb them on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The power of the old guitar guitar feedback that usually.
All right, moving along.
Yeah. One thing that I like that we do, and we've been fortunate, pre quarantine, we were fortunate to, have these weekend warrior trips where we're really getting out of town. We're getting to Texas and we're getting to Colorado and we're getting to, the West Coast or whatever. What I think has been cool that we've done is during one of our songs, "Smart Enough to Run," we try to throw in a medley or like a chorus of another song based on the area that we're going to be in. So like when we were in Texas most recently, we did "Sharp Dressed Man" in the middle of one of our songs, and it maybe didn't sound as great as we wanted it to, but we did Tom Petty when we did "Learning to Fly" when right after he died, we played Gainesville Fest, and then we've done.
So it's good. Devo was good.
Devo, we did Devo.
Devo, love Devo.
Yeah.
What else? We've done a lot of little things. It's fun.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't remember if this was you guys, but it was one of the old time Chicago bands. Didn't someone just have their equipment stolen on the road? Was that you guys?
That was us.
What happened?
Luckily, it wasn't a ton of gear, but all our like personal belongings and cash and stuff of that nature. Thanks, Tucson, Arizona. Actually, it wasn't them. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't Tucson. It's not their fault.
So that happened at just being parked at the hotel, or were you guys out and about somewhere?
National Park.
Oh.
Yeah, a place where you have to go in and you have to pay to get in the park. And we parked at a trailhead. There was like 6 cars there. We walked away, did a little hiking for like 30 minutes. We have a minivan, so you really can't hide stuff as much as you'd like. And came back and 2 windows smashed. And it was basically they only grabbed the backpacks, left everything else. So they made it as quickly as possible and didn't take any of the suitcases or any of that nature. Or the guitars, luckily.
Yeah. Nat got his bass head stolen. That was a big one. John's work computer was stolen. A couple of your hard drives, right? That was in your bag.
Oh yeah, I had a hard drive. I had a lot of stuff. All the band cash was the killer.
Yeah, Dan's written the next 5 88 Fingers records, and because they were on those hard drives, we have no idea how those songs sound. I'll never know.
Don't lie, Dennis. Don't lie. It's just because you won't write lyrics for them.
DJ
nice.
Is there a specific line of creation in the band? Does Dan do you write most of the music and Denis do the vocals, or do you switch it off a lot more, or is there one pattern you guys stick to, or is it try different approaches?
Cooper's got to do his daily crash.
Hi.
Oh,
hello. Denis writes pretty much all the lyrics. I think there's been 2 songs that we've ever played that weren't covers that he hasn't written all the lyrics for. Musically depends on what era you're talking about. Recently, Thank You for Being a Friend, I think I came up with 4 or 5 songs all throughout, but then I had a lot of help from Nat and John, and then there were some songs that we just put all together at the same time. And actually, Denis coming up with some ideas as well at practice. So it just that can change, I think. But lyrically, Denis is the one to take care of that stuff.
Yeah, that's what it seemed when I was reviewing a lot of the stuff today. It seemed like a singular voice. Like it seemed really specific, which I thought was great. It really gave the band focus. Are you usually presented with songs in rehearsals, Denis, or do you does it help you to get demos of stuff, or do you just like being there live with the band when figuring that shit out?
Since we've been back, this latest iteration has ironically been the longest we've lasted in one incarnation. So we've been doing this now for going on 7 years, and I would say this time around, I'm excited to be there as we're working on the songs. The old days, Joe and Dan would literally write a song, I might hear one of them play me an idea over an acoustic guitar, or they would do a boombox recording at a practice, and then I would get that and work on that. But this time around, it's been I think I have a better ear for arrangements, so I like to be there as the songs are being fleshed out. You know, I still can't play a fucking chord on the guitar, so I literally will say, "Oh, what if the guitar goes booga booga?" That's as concise as I can be right now, but. Yeah,
I think it also depended on the songs. Depended on the songs because there was like I think 4 of them when we first were talking about a new record. I had like 3 or 4 of them that I just sent that were like almost done, drums, bass, guitars, and everything. And then there was actually a few more that me and Nat had worked on. That again, same thing was all set. And we sent that to Denis, and we were like, write something to this, and let's see where we can go from here.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, I actually honestly don't give myself the chance to really dig into albums lately, but I listened to Thank You for Being a Friend this morning. It's really a great record. It's really strong.
Thank you.
Straight through. It has a bunch of different influences within it, but also it just seems like it does hold together as one band, one album. I really yeah.
So is there like one song when you guys are playing live that the whole band is kind of built up like this is it, we're gonna just go all over the crowd with this one? Is there one song that you guys do that with that you really love playing together?
I think "Smart Enough to Run." That's the song that we throw the little cover in.
That's one. I think. What about Advice Column? Because I love playing that. I feel like we go off on that one.
I hate that song.
I mean, the couple of times I've seen you guys play, you guys do State really well.
They denied us State in November. Remember, we were hanging out. John asked us. I'm like, "Are you going to play State?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
We just got denied right then and there.
Yeah.
Actually, Advice Column was the song I had queued up to start the show, but then I remember we had William wanted to play live, so we did that. So that's a really good song. Yeah.
Cool.
To me personally, when like State starts in and everything, that's the morning like Eye of the Tiger Rocky song. It's just that intro to State, just going. It's like yes, and then Denis has got to sing and it all go. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know.
No, but that's one that I really like. Just fucking cranking in the store.
100 proof.
I got one customer, John, that comes in, and the ongoing joke is he's over by the turntable in the register one day, and he's like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's 88 Fingers. Haven't you heard this?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to hear that." And he hands me like Belinda Carlisle or something stupid. And so the whole entire time he's doing shit, and I'm like, "Dude, that's no 88 Fingers Louie. I'm not fucking playing it." So it's now been about a 4-month-long joke in the store when he comes in, he wants to play Chris Isaak, and I'm like, fuck that, dude, I got 88 over here. We're listening to this right now.
Nice.
So I think I heard, is that correctly, that have you guys actually played at Bill's record store? I know that you're familiar with William, know some shows, or? Yeah.
No, not yet.
We talked about it, me and Bill, right? We talked about the possibility, but
I'd like to. Well, you were supposed to come to the record store because you wanted your Wax Trax records, and then you're like, there's no tickets in his albums. I'm not going there.
Damn.
So I blew the dust off of them like 8 months later and just sold them to some other lady. I'm like, fuck that, dude.
Hey, William, what else you got for these guys?
What's your favorite album that you guys have made?
Well, there's like
Thank You for Being a Friend.
Well, out of the three.
I'm partial to Power Slave. That's the best record I think I've played on. No. I'm kidding. I actually really like Pretzel Logic. When I wrote Pretzel Logic in 1974, I was really happy with it. No, I think we all
Do not start with your Steely Dan shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
We haven't even gotten
Steely
to Journey yet.
Dan.
No, I agree. Thank You for Being a Friend, by far, is my favorite that we've done.
Yeah.
Who was the anti-Steely Dan guy that we just had on? Was that Grimm or was that B-Face? I think it was B-Face.
Yeah, I think it was B-Face too. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I don't know why Steely Dan is coming up again and again and again.
Yeah, it came up on the radio today, and I changed the channel.
Right.
Did you guys? I think did I read correctly that most of your earlier releases were mostly 7 inches? Is that true?
We did the first 7-inch. We did on our own, and then did Toad and 40s come out before the Fat 7 inches? No, Toad and 40s.
Yes, the first, I think Go Away came out first. That 7-inch. Then the other ones I think went on Tote and 40s because those. Remember, we're going to call it the songs that Fat Mike didn't like. So we put out that, and then we did 2 more 7-inches actually on Fat, right, or one Wanted.
Wanted.
Oh yeah. Then the other one came out years later. The Teacher Gets It.
Yeah, with your dad on the cover.
Yep.
Yeah, we ended up doing 4 7-inches before the first album came out.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And the split with Low Evils.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious. Sometimes when I hear that, is that just that was kind of what everyone was doing then? You had to get some 7 inches under your belt before you tackle a record, or did you just prefer going in, doing a couple songs, and getting out? Was there any method behind that?
I think that's all we knew.
Yeah.
You know, like I think Joe was kind of the catalyst with us getting like sending stuff out to labels. Like he liked No Effects. He kind of introduced them to us. And so he was like, oh, we got to put out 7 inches. We got to do this. And when he sent letters to Fat Mike, Mike was like, hey, you guys, this is good. Let's do a 7-inch, but let's, do some more stuff. So I think it was always just like a few songs at a time. Plus, we didn't have like a lot of money to be recording at good places.
Right.
Or we did record at good places. We just couldn't afford to do a whole bunch of songs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Budget constraints for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'd only had that first 7-inch that we put out ourselves. That'd only been out for 4 or 5 or 6 months when we did our first recording session at Sonic Iguana based on Weasel's. Was Anthem recorded at Sonic Iguana? Yeah. What record did you guys do at Sonic Iguana?
Anthem, I don't think the Sonic Iguana that's there today wasn't around there. It wasn't around then yet, but we did with Mass at a few different.
Yeah. Okay. It was the old one on 4th Street. It was the old one on 4th Street. Yeah. Right, that's where we recorded first.
Yeah. Yes. But I'm saying we ended up going to Sonic Iguana because we liked the way Love Songs for the Retarded sounded in the Weasel stuff that Mass had done at the time. That was our reasoning for going to Sonic Iguana. And this was just a couple of months after we had recorded the first 88 7-inch at Attica with Chuck Uchida, and then with the rest of the songs that we had written, we went to Sonic Iguana and we had 8 songs on that in that recording session. It was about like 6, 7, 8 songs like that.
Maybe.
That was the tape that Joe sent to Fat Mike, and Mike picked the songs that he wanted to put out, and the rest, and then we just kind of took off from there.
It's funny you bring up Chuck. I was trying to remember his early band, that instrumental band. What was it called?
The Defoliants.
That's what it was, Defoliants. Yeah. I couldn't remember their name. I was trying to find some of the stuff online, and I couldn't remember the name. I kept on coming up with Del Fuegos, but that's
a little different sounding. I never got to go see show. I never saw shows at the Old Exit. Besides seeing like Fugazi and Life Sentence and Medusas, I didn't really get to go to. I wasn't around for a lot of the older punk shows. I think the other oldest show I was at was Defoliants and DI played at oh my god, what was the name of the place that's Nick's Beer Garden now in Wicker Park? what was that place called?
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God! I saw Di and the Defoliants there.
Lounge acts?
No, not Lounge Acts. This is in Wicker Park where Nick's Beer Garden is.
Oh, I don't know.
Dreamers, Club Dreamers. That's where it
Oh,
was.
Club Dreamers. That's where I saw Bhopal Stiffs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Club Dreamers burned down. That's the one that burned down, right? Yeah.
Oh, I thought Dreamers was where. Wasn't Dreamers in Wicker Park?
Dreamers was on Milwaukee.
Yeah, it burned down. The club itself burned down. Yeah,
Okay. So where that building stood, they rebuilt it and they've got this.
Yeah.
Bar. Okay. Yeah, but that was like December of '89. That would have been the one and only time I got to see the Defoliants.
Well, we're gonna wrap it up soon. Well, this time goes by fast when we do this. We started a little bit late, so we'll go a little bit longer. But I was actually curious, Dan, because I don't actually know a lot about either of your biographies. Were you always interested in being engineering, or did you like go into the studio with a band and were attracted to it, or did you fall into it later? Or what was your?
It was actually when we were recording. I think it was Behind Bars. Master Genie, which we recorded with him a bunch of times. He was the one. He's like, you've got a really good ear for this stuff. Would you want to learn about it? And I don't remember this part, but apparently I said no. I don't have time. I'm busy with the band and stuff. But then in '98, when we went back to record Back on the Streets. That's when I was like, you know what? I'll do this. I'll get on top of this. And I started editing vocals, like comping vocals and doing stuff for that album. Was the first album that I ever worked on. So that was cool. And then in '99, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own studio. And that's what I did. And since then, it's been going pretty well.
I didn't look on the credits. Is this the album that you guys did? Did you do that at your own studio?
Yeah, everything at my studio, recording, mixing, mastering, the whole shebang.
Yeah, it's very good sound to it. Really great.
Thank you. I was proud of it.
Yeah. Bill, you got any? Oh yeah, go ahead, William.
Do you guys have any plans for a new album?
Do you need another breakup for 7 years before we hear one, or we're going to be?
No. As I've been thinking during the midst of this quarantine, like any again, speaking for myself, any trepidation with working on stuff, like I could have a million excuses in the world before shit went to shit. And now that everyone's tired of sitting on their hands, like nothing would make me happier than to work on stuff. But it's all about time management, and I'm terrible at that. So,
well, just start humming some songs. Just start changing lyrics around. Do some Steely Dan covers. Just rewrite the lyrics.
Or I've actually started to write my own music.
Oh,
cool!
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, save that for yourself so it can be really good, and then you can do it.
Yeah.
We'll send you to Dan's house. You can record.
Yeah, we'll just send. I can go to Dan's house and record, and we'll be all set.
There you go.
Get 30 seconds recording for your birthday next year.
Oh man!
To do these clarifications, someone clarified. John Tulsick. Dreamers did burn down, like I said, but it was actually rebuilt. I didn't know that. So you're probably correct that the Dreamers turned into the other club. So they rebuilt it and rebuilt Dreamers, and then it became something else. Yeah. I remember because that's where the first what's the name of the label was Russ's label that became 8 Bark.
Roadkill Records?
Underdog.
Yeah, Roadkill Records. But what's 8 Bark? What's his name? 8 Bark.
Doug Ward.
Doug. Yeah, Doug used to live right down the street from there. We used to always hang out in his place during those days.
Nice.
Yeah. I haven't thought about him for a while, but I saw a picture of him recently online. I was like, oh, that's Doug.
Yeah. I see him every maybe 2 or 3 times a year at various shows. He's like Dick Clark. He doesn't, aside from hair maybe being a little bit longer, like he looks like the exact same guy I met in Western Illinois in like '92 or '91, what the hell it was.
Russ Forster is online a lot again. I reconnected with him. Do you remember? You remember Russ from Fudge Tunnel? Yeah. He's been hitting this Trump thing in quarantine pretty hard. He's got some really cool videos online that he's been doing too. So I love just seeing all these musicians doing stuff in response to what's going on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That wasn't a question. It was just a statement.
I was waiting for the question mark.
No, this isn't about the questions here.
Hey, any way anybody can pass the time in the midst of this shit, you know?
Yeah. Thank you guys for making time. Some people were wondering why other band members weren't there. We could only have 4 split screens on this, and then you're the 2 I know, so it wasn't any choice because of like who I think in the band is something. You're the 2 I know for years and years and years, so I thought it'd be fun to have you 2 on.
In other words, the application that we're using for this only had room for 2 egos, and
yeah.
For myself, I'm a very humble person. It's normally Dan that takes.
Yeah. Sometimes we can get more on, but we have to sort of judge the egos of the band members, and then
moron. Why do you call me a moron?
You know, I did notice that Dan did not take a break to comb his hair during this whole entire hour.
Does it not look good? I mean,
it's starting to go on the side a little bit. You know, I think you got to stop and pull out the brush. There we go.
Bitch. Look at that.
Oh, no.
Glorious.
That was funny at the one show. He comes downstairs, and I forgot what people were doing. I turned my head, and there's Dan with the brush in his hair.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a My Little Pony episode.
It gets like tangled so quickly that I got to do it. It's got to look good. It's the only thing I got going for me, man. Come on.
Hey, Dan. Not to bring up old shit, but did one of your bitch brushes get stolen during the break-in?
No, believe it or not. Yes, one of them did. Yes, it was an older one. It did.
Yeah.
But I had 2, and then I had to buy another one a little while ago. So yeah, that sucked.
You're like the Imelda Marcos of hairbrushes, aren't you?
That's right. No one knows who that. There's only like 3 people to be like, oh yeah, shoot.
Old reference.
Hey guys, I just saw that Daryl was kind of on, and I just wanted to reach out to him and tell him that we love him and thanks for everything. Give him a hug on there.
Absolutely, Daryl. Thank you.
Daryl is a Superman in the midst of a ton of superheroes out there.
That is true.
He is fighting a good fight for a lot of us. So him and my sons in EMT, all the first responders out there, we are.
Everybody's just going at it.
Yeah.
On there. So, well,
all right, boys.
Pretty soon things will change up and we can all get together again. And
I hope so.
I don't know. I'm gonna stay at home.
You would stay at home. You're like, fuck those people.
I'm gonna stay at home. You guys have fun. Go shake hands.
I'm gonna get together with Dan and we're gonna do the puppet series and we're gonna hand puppet Denis. And we're gonna make you sound a little bit like Streisand.
Hand puppet. You got to use 2 hands for that hand puppet.
How about a foot puppet?
There's another joke there I'm not going to touch.
I know. Smell would be perfect.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I knew there was a dirty place to go for that puppet talk, but
no, we can't talk Dixon and chili because Denis is like, no. So
1, 2, 3. One. Never mind. Forget it.
Well, guys, stay safe in your houses, and yeah, we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel, and love to see you guys back out playing.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, man. I'm glad we can make this happen.
Yeah.
It was fun. I still got to see you. We were supposed to see him tomorrow night, so we get to see him tonight.
There you go.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for
tuning in.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Safe.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.